Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. I tried to drag that intro out long enough. Let's see. Hey, cool. We're live on YouTube, so awesome. I know we're rocking and rolling. This is our little sort of dovetails video that we do on a daily basis following our daily brief, which is actually kind of Kevin and we both had segments today. It was really cool listening to Kevin. Of course, we have our Stock Pickers Club Tuesday evenings, and he reviews any new ideas that we kicked around there out of that group. And actually, I did a little bit of buying in the market today. I couldn't believe it. I was quite surprised. But I noticed that the metals markets were firming up appreciably here today. And there was one warrant that I was super interested in. And I kept humming and hawing and humming and hawing. And I just saw it there and it was breaking out. And I was like, fuck it, Brian, just get off your ass and go pick some up. So I actually even spent some money today, even though I don't really want to buy a lot of stuff right now. I was trying to get my cash balance up to my original starting cash balance, which is about 80 G's or so. I got it all the way up to about 78,000, and now I've gone and started spending money again. But anyway, I got about 45,000 in free equity from the market over the period of 2020. Hopefully that helps offset the rise of my cost of living. Prices for everything are going up. So, that's half of the reason why it's a good idea to participate in the market, as, you can make a bit of money there to offset this crazy fugazi inflation world that's been completely generated by the central banks. Sad, but anyway, it is the world that we live in. Anyway, so Bitcoin going from 3,000 last March up here to 30,000. Is it maybe a good idea to cash in a little bit of that, so that, if you did participate, and so that when you go to the grocery store and your silly loaf of bread that was a couple bucks is now $6, $7? Yeah, it helps pay for that. I think it's important for us all to realize. I hope everybody does realize this, but I don't think many people do. Um, all assets move up or down, deflation, inflation conversation, but they just do it at different places on the economic cycle and on the demographic cycle and stuff. Like, if you can think about, like that fear greed cycle and the preference for paper assets versus hard assets, it's not really like one is so much better than the other. They all move basically the same. It's just they move at different points in the cycle. I think I just said that anyway. So, I used to get so angry at people for being so happy about having great real estate investments that did so well over the past 20 years, or, back in the 90s when the stock market was going absolutely insane. And I would look at them and say, well, you do realize that this is all a zero sum game. If your stock portfolio is going up now, well, at some point, the price of oil will go up, the price of land will go up, the price of a jar of peanut butter will go up, and it will all level out. So, ironically enough, 90s, that was all about the front end of the curve, NASDAQ.com, growth stocks, all that stuff. Backside of the curve, the fear part of the cycle, that's when the commodities all get pumped up. And what I think happens here, if I understand this game correctly, is about once every maybe 80, 90 years, we go through it. Looks like there's sort of two parts of this cycle. The first part of this cycle is a new currency unit. It's relatively virgin, it's uncorrupted, and it's used as a strong vehicle. So you think of, like the United States dollar heading into the 20th century, it was uncorrupted. 1913, it lost its virginity. And it went through basically about, well, I guess about 90, 100-year cycle of basically being turned into a whore. Sucks, but it's the way it goes. And interestingly enough, if you go back over the years and over the centuries, I think this is actually a fairly common cycle. And this is the kind of stuff, JP Morgan, millionaires don't respect astrology, billionaires do. I think the people, especially like 500 years ago, when a common peasant wouldn't know what the hell a Jupiter Saturn conjunct was, I think that the people in charge understand this whole cycle kind of behavior, especially with currency, and they take advantage of it. It's interesting, like in today's video, we were sharing this gentleman's conversation. Very down to earth, very millennial, very new age, right? And it's actually really cool just listening to him just talk very matter of factly about all these very, actually quite predictable cycles. It's quite shocking. I don't know, Kevin, should we include this guy's maybe video, that link there in the description today? It might be food for thought for you. I'll leave it up to Kevin. If he says yes, then we'll do it. If he says no, then I'll shut the hell up. What? That Kevin guy, man, he's a hard ass. Oh goodness! Always, I mean, if anything, it should be cool edutainment for you. We're living through historic times. I mean, this guy alone, he was saying, we've never been through this. Usually, you have like these big transitional events happen on their own, right? Jupiter Saturn cross happens on its own, and it's isolated, and of course, it has all the sort of ramifications of what house it was in, blah 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 blah. But and then there's Saturn, Pluto, and then there's Pluto, Uranus, and whatever. It turns out that there's like 4 or 5 or 6 of these things all happening all at exactly the same time. So is it gonna be an easy go through all this insanity? And what does the world actually look like on the other side of this? It's kind of up in the air, folks. Oh goodness. If anything, though, I kind of. My thesis all along had been that the end of that last fear cycle was, greed cycle was top of the U.S. economy, 2000, millennium, all that. And of course, the ultimate demise of the Soviet Union. I postulated at the end of this particular cycle, which theoretically ended the end of 2017, the beginning of 2018, that was supposed to be the end of the United States of America. Now, I don't know which United States of America came to an end. Maybe one form of the United States of America, that form that was sort of based on a currency and asset values and civil liberties and civil rights and things like constitutions and stuff like that. Maybe that has come to an end, right? Because we're definitely living in a different world where even just basic economics 101 is right out the window. And of course, we won't even get into politics. I mean, does your vote actually count, and can you actually track actual democratic process in this world? I don't even know, but anyway, only time will tell. Sure is fun. Market, I'll tell you that much. Because this is the 20th and this is supposed to be fairly important day, Mr. Trump is done and Mr. Biden now takes over in the United States of America. The only reason why it's so important, of course, the United States of America is technically the world's economic engine. Of course, there's a country over there in Asia that would maybe like to take over that job. It is interesting to see that Mr. Ma also resurfaced here today. So I wonder if China's trying to do a little backpedaling here with the new administration. Should be interesting to see how that plays out. No word whatsoever on the 2 Canadians that were kidnapped, the 2 Michaels, and who have been, kangaroo court, thrown in a prison in China, and living, pretty miserable lives. No word of resolution of any of that kind of stuff through any of this here, which is a bit sad in itself. Might be interesting to see now that Mr. Trump is gone, whether that Huawei executive gets used in as an olive branch from the west here now, and maybe we can get our two Michaels back. Who knows? Um, so I definitely think as you go through these massive, obviously this event today has huge geopolitical ramifications, and probably far sweeping economic implications. I don't know whether we really want to make any huge, grandiose conclusions about price here today. I think that might be a little bit premature. If anything, usually what happens, what I've found in my past experience is markets don't tend to break through political events. Markets would prefer to just let the political event and the politicians and that part of our society do their thing. Usually things like the Fed, they'll say, hey, we don't want to be we don't want to be considered to have affected the political process, all that kind of talk. So, and then also too, with this big health crisis, you could make the argument that the economic people, the banks, all that kind of stuff, they're not going to play hardball in this kind of environment. When things get settled down, I guarantee you in the years to come, there will be conversations about, well, maybe you overextended yourself and it's time to rein things in a bit, but not now. I can't see it now. So that's kind of your backdrop. If anything, we probably should expect a bit of a honeymoon period out of the market. As sort of the market kind of goes through this transition, new people are in new jobs, sort of understanding who's sort of in control, what kind of attitude they're going to have, that kind of stuff. Sort of, like who's going to be the new SEC chairman. Understand he's going to take a little bit more proactive role in the market. So I think we're in that kind of what I would call a honeymoon phase. We did recently get a little bit of sort of a warning shot from the bond market that it was a bit unhappy. And we even said recently too, after that break, the stock market kind of went woo. Right, so there's the Dow, the S&P, the big European index. Interesting too, the commodities markets also kind of broke a bit there. The only sort of outlier to that, of course, is our crazy energy market. On balance, even crypto was kind of giving a little bit of warning signs here recently, but the broader crypto market looks very strong, so it has not broken yet. We kind of see that in the junior stock market as well. I guess the thing that really jumps out at me today is, if it's one thing that I think Mr. Biden is I think he is a status quo kind of guy. So if that's the case, then, if we go and look, I mean, just ask yourself, what's been the status quo over the past, 10, 20 years, big tech stocks. Right. So I get the impression that status quo is very happy. Status quo just got business as usual. Your playground is not going to be affected here, which is interesting. I find that fascinating. This also probably is going to be a reiteration. I mean, really, I was watching Apple here recently. Apple starting to put in sort of signs that, hey, it's not so happy. I got to say, our little screening tools are coming on really, really nicely. And just off of users' dashboards now in the not too distant future, we'll just have these fed in, right? We had, I think we had some bearish Davos signals coming out of Apple recently. It's kind of surprised me, to be honest with you. Not quite sure how Stewart had that. Maybe that was a few days ago. Where was that? Yeah, there it was, Apple. So, I mean, I haven't looked at a chart of Apple today. I think it's up quite dramatically. And maybe that was sort of like a last gasp. Yeah, so we have some momentum failure here, but yeah, pretty strong showing here today. Interestingly enough, if this is a fractal bottom, that's actually what we call a Joby gap. So gap and go. If we close above that bar tomorrow, that's actually a bit of a buy signal, and it means we're probably going to head back up and test these highs. But it was interesting to see Apple was really yawning there yesterday. It's quite remarkable. But clearly today on Inauguration Day, now we'll have to watch if we can't, if we paint some sort of pin bar high here, maybe we should take a look at a real chart. And I'm kind of free falling it here today. I hope you guys are enjoying the edutainment. Remember, I don't tell you what to do with your money. I'm only telling you what I'm doing with my money. AAPL. Boom. Yeah. I was pretty surprised yesterday. And if anything, maybe, the little doji bar there yesterday was sort of like somebody took a run at this thing and they just couldn't break it right on that doji. And I think that's probably even the New York kill zone, right? Let's see what time that was. 6:30 a.m. right on the nose. So they dumped the market right on the retail open, seeing if they could open up the floodgates, and they just couldn't get any sellers to come out. Sellers just didn't come out, and boom, market jumps the other way. And now, the irony of it all is, probably some of you are going, hey, Brian, isn't that 3 higher lows? And could maybe bots be setting up here? We're all in a Joe Biden honeymoon? It's definitely possible. Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, look at the stock market. Very strong. What? 383.90 just blasted right up through the top. So interesting. And, also, too, we were conjecturing this recently. Like, what would this market look like into this inauguration event? Fascinating. Look how they gapped it higher, and then they tried to pull it back against this trend line. It actually acted as support, and then the market launched higher from that level. That's fascinating. So as it stands right now, I'm getting the impression that Inauguration Day is not going to be as chaotic as people were fearing. I think the market was kind of going, oh boy, this could get ugly here. Psych. Anyway, so that's kind of the market that we're seeing right now. And as you can see from the screen, some up, some down. Kind of, some in, some out. I mean, the blockchain stocks, ooh, they look a little dangerous here. But there are names that are outperforming, like Little Socket Mobile. We notice this guy's perking up. Show me a new high and I'll show you a buy. Little lithium names, beautiful bot setups. In fact, actually, I was sort of walking through the site. Kevin, a fun project we've given him is to try and reconcile all of Brian's trading into all the different plans that he's running. Good luck. Because we would really like to report it on the site a little bit more professionally than the way that we do it. And it's just because I think I've told you before, I don't really run this site as some sort of great sales platform. I want to, be famous and all that shit. It was built to simply facilitate a need to do a job that my wife specifically asked me to do. And then so many of you keep coming around wanting to do more and more and more and more and stuff. And so now we're eventually getting around to actually building the site the way sort of customers would like to see. Can you please report the trades that you're taking, Brian, instead of just showing us statements like every once in a while? Oh, look at all the money I'm making. Anyway. But here's a very typical bot setup. This is lithium. Cool sector. And I kind of like this, right? So I got one for TRI running in the lithium sector. I think I've been sort of walking you guys through. We got one in the silver sector going. Where the hell is that crazy one? And what hopefully you see is just consistency, right? Oh, yeah, these setups all look pretty much the same. So there's the bot working in this silver stock. Remember, I even told you through this, I was like, my number one job here is just don't do anything, Brian. Just let your money work. So it's just working away, doing its thing. We got another one in the airline sector. We got stopped out on a cruise line stab we took earlier in the year, but, it's professional, so we just keep coming back. This bot, I suppose, I don't have the trade metric on here, but we got kind of lucky. We snuck in off of that level, off this W here. Risk against those lows, which is somewhere down in that area. And our target is up here. Look at that, 7-to-1 risk reward. Whoa, Johnny Hoagland, he'd like that kind of trade. So we got that thing working away. There was one other one that I think I had on, and it made a nice basket of, well, no, you don't know, but how do I say this? Man, I can't remember the damn guy's name. But anyway, there were studies done on sort of the ultimate, and actually, this would be a fun assignment for anybody watching the video later on. What's this guy's name? What's this name of the study? It slipped my mind. Trying to figure out what the best mix of stocks is, the number of stocks, the amount of risk that you take for your portfolio to give you the biggest bang for your buck. I think it's somewhere around 4 stocks, typically 4 to 5, somewhere in there. So that's sort of this kind of thinking. You have one airline, which sort of plays that travel angle. You got one like lithium name, which plays sort of like the energy side of our new age economy. We got on this bot, right? That's playing for the online education push. They have a relationship with the University of Phoenix or whatever. And it just gives you a nice basket, right? So you got like one silver stock, one travel stock, one tech stock, and one energy stock, lithium stock. It's kind of a fun way to play the market. So I'm asking Kevin if he can just build that, bot setups that we're taking, as demonstration as well. But it's kind of fun. Anyway, like I said, it's kind of a free for all session here for me today. I don't know whether there's any great sort of new trends, and like I said, with the inauguration today, I don't know whether I really want to go and strap on a whole bunch of new stuff. So kind of broader market message. U.S. dollar came off of a really nice rally back into what I think was a neckline of a head and shoulders. So I think we're going through a period of forming the right-hand shoulder of this massive head and shoulders, which means we probably expect it all in here. And believe it or not, actually, I think, believe it or not, it's going to stretch out to something like this, where this debate about whether the US dollar is for real or whether it's crap, right? I think this debate goes on for a long time here. Anyway, we'll see what happens. This is my general thinking about this part of the market. And of course, if we do consolidate here nicely and then start ticking up through, what is that? It's probably a big fat round number. Yeah, it looks like 91. And that makes sense too, right? 91, well, we're probably going to be into the sort of 90s trading range for a while. And we're still sort of asking, well, are we going to lose the 90 handle and be trading down in the 80s for a while? I think that's actually what's going on here. What I do find fascinating about all this is this crazy Canadian dollar. I mean, it just baffles me. I think, as I've sort of said repeatedly of late, I actually like thinking short the Canadian dollar. Since last March's low, this has just basically been straight up. But you can see where the last M is. It's all the way up here. What is that? 81.29. So, and actually, if you pull up like the futures chart of this, there's a bunch of gaps in here. So it looks to me like we're still stretching higher here. You might even be able to do like A, B, C, Ds, maybe even a Foggenbaum off of that level, which would probably take us all the way up here. I'll tell you that's a bit surprising. I would have thought we would have run out of steam a little bit earlier there, but it ain't there yet. Yeah, this has really left my head scratching. And actually, I even put out tweets today in the Metro Toronto region. I don't, and Toronto's the biggest city in this country, Canada. But the vacancy rates now for apartments and condos are the highest they've been in 50 years. 50 years. Which, oh, by the way, was exactly the last time we had one of these big major cycle pivots. I'm trying to find I can never do this. Talk to you guys and find pages and charts and symbols at the same time. It never works. Where the hell's that damn? Oh, goodness, knucklehead! I can't find the damn page I want to find. I'm looking for the website. Where's the website? There it is. All right, it's driving me crazy. This this is exactly what derailed the Canadian housing market in the early 80s. It was exactly the same. I mean, this is identical. It's shocking. So I don't know. I mean, they, this is not a potion for economic success. Now, people are saying, well, because people aren't living in the cities anymore. Well, I hate to tell you, but Canada's economy is basically based off of its three major cities: Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal. And everything else in the Canadian economy technically is just like agrarian and rural. So I don't know, man. The writing's on the walls. That shocked me when I saw that this morning. So, the irony of it all is that actually a rising Canadian dollar actually is just going to simply make Canada more unattractive internationally, globally, competitively. I don't know. And then, of course, the question I suppose is, since all of these are fiat currencies and they all base their value off of the US dollar, if the Fed keeps printing dollars, should we not be adjusting these things versus M2 to actually see what the real number value of this is? Oh, God, this holy rabbit hole. I swear the Fed should have never gone down the rabbit hole of fucking with the currency base. This can only end badly, but oh well, we'll see what happens. Like I said, the oligarchs in our sort of North American society, I think they're voting today, and I think they're very happy. Was it a coordinated effort to get rid of that guy that was running the United States of America? It could have been. I wouldn't be surprised if we find out down the road. Keep in mind, there's like pictures of George Bush Sr. on the ground the day Kennedy was shot in Dallas. How does that happen? So, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of what happened down in the States was highly orchestrated. It is what it is, I suppose. Buy your Bitcoins, Barry. Let's get the hell out of this system, right? The only problem is that they bid Bitcoin and even like Ethereum up to levels now that, you could actually see a quote unquote crash in these prices, but it's not really a crash. It's just these assets have been bid up to just ridiculous levels. So, how do you define crash? As I've been saying recently, and probably better, maybe we'll pop on over here, right? Stock market, I was actually looking for 38.2s, and the market says, fuck you, Brian. I don't really care what you think. And as I sort of said earlier, I think there was a bit of fear about inauguration was going to turn into a disaster, and I get the impression it's going off about a hedge. Interesting to see how the bonds here, if anything, the bond market should continue lower here if the stock market and crude oil and Bitcoin stuff start rallying in earnest. That should pull money out of fixed income and bonds. Really interesting little fight going on here in the bond market right now. And as I'd said earlier, I was quite pleased, a little surprised, but pleased to see the metals markets firming up. And actually, a special treat for you. I mean, do with it as you please. I don't care if you buy it. Doesn't really matter to me. But we had TRI SOF Secret Options Formula Club. Holy shit, look at it go. That's cool. And we've been having a lot of fun trading warrants lately. And this one had been brought to my attention a while ago. I mean, you can see the trading range. You can see where, value is. Look at these gaps, right? Maybe did fibs up here. Probably could even do foggy levels to tell you exactly where this thing's going to go. But this is the kind of name that caught my attention. Like I said, I've been seeing these W's repeatedly, and I was just like, today, fuck it. I just go and grab some, Brian. Quit being a pussy. So I just pulled the trigger there. I'm in at I think it's about 18, 19 cents, somewhere in there. So like I said, that's nice to see. Good to see. But look where this thing could go. I mean, gee whiz. I mean, that's a long way up. That's 62 cents. And if you don't think these silly warrants can do this, I mean, look at this nonsense. I just bought this a week or two ago. Look at that. At a high there, what, 50, 60 cents there? That's ridiculous. 10x. What is this, a cryptocurrency? So, dun, 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 dun. And if this thing does pull back and fill in some gaps, I'm more than happy to add to a bit of this. But these guys, do your own due diligence. Like I said, I don't care if you buy this thing or not. It's no skin off my back. And of course, none of this is investment advice. This is all edutainment. Oh, I've been watching this damn eyes, man. Look at that little warrant. I mean, I'm long from down. I think I'm actually long from here. Sold half on a double, just sitting on free crap. And I think actually it just missed a sell half on a double order for me because I'm long from like, I think a dime or something. Lets them go at 20. My next order is at 40, and they ran it right up to my order, saw me, and went, nah, sorry, pal. So I think, if anything, I think I'll be on the sell side if that pops up there. But man, trading these warrants sure is a lot of fun. So anyway, that's kind of what we're doing on the site and in the market. So actually, like I said, I don't really want to spend any money right now. But when I see a chart like that, and like I said, I was looking at it this morning right down in here, I was just like, I got to go get some of that. So, there you go. Merry Christmas. What am I supposed to be doing here? Yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So stocks heading higher. For Casey. If they want to take the market higher, awesome. Way to go. I like the metals trade, like our little silver bot. I think I showed you there a minute ago. My number one job there is just don't get in its way. Just let it do its thing. Now it's back in the money. Small caps, kind of waffling a little bit here, maybe. Like you saw that image about Google and Amazon and whatever. I got a funny feeling that there is a lot of money pouring into the United States of America and pouring specifically into those big tech stocks on Inauguration Day. Wouldn't even surprise me if you actually went back and looked, and the day that Trump was elected, X amount of dollars came out of the U.S. equity market, because I remember that happened. Even though the markets did enjoy a really, really nice rally prior to him to actually taking office. And then, you actually find that, especially like the Europeans and all that kind of stuff, I don't think they ever really liked Mr. Trump. They probably wanted to be invested in those companies. It's just morally they couldn't. So literally the day that power has been put back into maybe their preferable camp, whatever you want to call it, boom, that money all just came pouring back in. So we might see maybe a little part of the underperformance out of the small caps as this sort of orgy in big cap, the 1% continues. Tough to say. Heading on over to crypto, it's interesting how we did brush up against this foggy level here. I wonder if that's maybe a little bit of a tell. Whatever the push was on this DeFi space, because the DeFi space push here recently, oh boy, was it ever dramatic. Be interesting to see if this actually even got up there on a candle basis. Oh yeah, it did. Look at that, son of a bitch. I tell you, man, do yourself a favor and learn these goddamn foggy levels. That's ridiculous. Kevin, do you see that? Fuck me. God, it's incredible when you see that happen. Wow. I don't know if Kevin's still here or not. So actually, speaking of which, I have to get ready to teach a class here. I should shut the hell up. Actually, this doesn't look. Oh, because I remember I was going off the clotheslines. So, wow, what a crazy image. So I don't know. Maybe that explains why we had to stall up here. But I did notice overnight, like botters, maybe they were politely told to hop off. Tough to say. Had I taken this trade, I might have gotten chicken shit, maybe just pulled back a bit. Can't really say what the hell's going to happen here now. So, maybe it continues ABCing its way up top here. It looks like it's trying to put in some sort of W there, but it just doesn't look very healthy. Probably more importantly, the corn, right? I had put out a message the other day, I guess it was here yesterday, going, it's not really like I'm bearish. It's just I'm very unbullish. I don't know whether that makes sense or not. No way in hell I can buy or invest in an asset that looks like that. You all know that. I don't know whether we're really, bearish means I think this market's going down and down in a big way. I don't know whether I'm really there. I wouldn't be surprised if this son of a bitch just like zigzags all over here for the next, maybe 6 months, just drives everybody crazy. But I can't be bullish, especially with that. There's just no way I can be bullish in the face of that. So, I suppose with Willie being stupid, we had plenty of warning that really you shouldn't be a buyer through this. And, that's kind of like this, right? Same thing. Willie's nice and stupid. Willie does come out, doesn't even really do it that well, but at least here, you're not walking into an overbought market, and that set up these buy signals. I think it was like the last time we had a Davo buy signal was back around this time, like right through here, if I'm not mistaken. So as long as all this looks blah like that, I can't really pitch the idea of a long. And that's sort of what I would kind of the message I was trying to put out with social media the other day is, probably best just to leave this thing alone. And at worst, right, up, down, up, down, up. Oh boy, if we close, you can see they took this candle here today down right through the New York kill zone, see if they could get the retail to puke out and panic. But notice through the trading day here, especially with the way risk assets are so strong today, you notice that, that they've taken that signal away. So I'd have to see like a nice clothesline below that low there. And easy way for you to see this and just change this to a line chart. And nice close below there confirms this big honk in him, and down we go. So it's not there yet. We're still, I think, in this sort of triangle consolidation. And my hunch here is this goes on for a few more days. Maybe, through the next few days, we can start cleaning things up, making higher lows and higher highs, and momentum starts cleaning up and it starts making higher lows and higher highs, right? We start looking like that. It's not bad freehand, eh? We start getting something that looks like this, okay. But right now, like I said, I'm not bearish. I'm just unbullish. And I guess, and you might find that this thing just does nothing here. And the stocks, remember, what was that guy's name? I don't even know what his name is, to be honest with you. Purdney, Barstool guy. Oh, look at eyes. I knew that son of a bitch was going to go. Look at that. Fuck. There it goes. Anyway, poor guy came in on Mara, got all excited. Oh my God, it's the next best thing since sliced bread. Like right in here. And of course, and this is the sad part about it is the guy probably had a pretty good idea, blockchain, crypto, it's the future, blah, blah, blah. But the market ends up doing this. And of course, all his newsletter subscribers get all angry at him, right? That's what I think this is. So right now, you look at this chart. What are we supposed to think? Have you ever see the market smiling at you? I mean, it's there. So, and this also has a couple smiles. Hey, there's that one in there as well. So, reload zones are all the way down here. There's the top of value. There's the, look left. The last time we saw key support right in there. So I don't know what the hell the bottom looks like. I don't know whether I'd really even like the idea of shorting this. I actually wouldn't mind a rally back up top, reload zones, that kind of stuff. And then maybe, if we got, like I said, well, here, let's first off change that to If we got a nice rally back up into reload zones up here, right? And then we got like a nice M. I think I might do some serious put shopping, but that's still probably, better part of a month away. So dangerous for the public to come in and participate in the market. You see what happens when people chase. They're caught up here. They're going to have to sit there for a while, and they're hoping to God this thing turns back up. Of course, cheap asses like Brian, I want to see these kind of W's. Or even here. Give me something. I ain't got anything to work with here. So, like I said, I'm not really bearish of crypto. I'm not bullish. I'm unbullish. Yeah. So that's kind of state of the market right now. Actually, that I don't know whether I think I just showed you that little metal proxy I just threw on there, right? So this would be a play in this market firming up. And I got to tell you, gold and silver, they don't look bad in here, right? If anything, I wouldn't mind seeing a nice top in the oil, right? And then that would give the metals a base to rally. I could see some performance. What's fascinating, and I think I showed you this, maybe I'll just wind up with this, is look at that. I mean, wow, that's one hell of a move on the day. Now, granted, all we're doing is coming up and filling in a gap. And they left a gap here, so we'll probably have to come back and fill it in a bit. But, pretty damn strong showing out of the really more the silver. Gold, I mean, it looks okay. You can see the gap way up top here, but also big gap today. It looks like probably going to run into resistance at that gap there. But I think actually, well, that doesn't look that great. Maybe it's just wishful thinking on my part. Well, I don't know. Look good. I mean, gee whiz, I'm in this lumber stock from this bottom down here. Just let another half go the other day, but wow, does that ever look strong? And actually, Kevin, through today's daily brief, was talking a little bit. We did a blog post recently on the first 2 week study. And the first 2 weeks, money is pouring into these commodities. Is that the typical sign of a top of the market, top of the economy? Yeah. And does that make sense? Everything's been ramping up into Joe's inauguration here. Yeah. Everything's loosey-goosey, nice and liquid. Yeah. Is this a buy the rumor, maybe sell the news? It's feeling like it. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Man, lots of uppy here. Gee whiz. I could see more uppy here out of the stock market. Yeah. Okay, I could just babble on here endlessly. Actually, I have a class I have to get ready for here, so I think we'll leave the free video at that. Been blabbing away, probably too long, but I hope you guys got some value out of that. Have yourselves a great rest of your day. All the best, and Kevin, if you could take us out of here, the only thing left for Brian to say here is bye for now.